and welcome to another episode of Hangry Caveman. And in this episode, we've got Tom Hughes. Tom
Hello.
Hughes, Jiu Jitsu by day, programmer by night.
Right.
Oh, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Just same as everyone else. Probably going a bit stir crazy indoors. Haven't trained in the longest period since I started.
Yeah.
Yeah, usual, man.
I think everyone's in the same boat at the moment.
Pretty much. Yeah.
What's just been happening? Everyone's just been trying to occupy their own mind for something else, aren't they?
Definitely. I've resorted to growing a lot of stuff. Started growing some avocado seeds, chili seeds, man. Yeah, get some chili. I've been eating a ton of fruit, so I'm trying to grow some satsuma stuff as well. Not that it will obviously bear fruit, but just trying to kill some time. Just growing random seeds, seeing what happens, man. But,
yeah, man. I mean, the avocado one looks quite easy to grow, but
yeah, pretty much. Seed, a few like toothpicks, and then you chuck in some water about an inch deep, and then hopefully it sprouts. But who knows? But man, the things I do when I can't actually do jiu-jitsu or anything, so.
Oh man, I mean, like this whole lockdown is biggest impact in this jiu-jitsu world right now. I mean, talking to Alain earlier, I mean, he's saying he hasn't trained for the longest part time.
Yeah, I bet. Definitely, man. I mean, I think I actually I stopped training. I think it must be coming up to 4 weeks on this Wednesday coming.
Yeah.
So I know like that everyone else was probably doing it up until the point that the government would like stop training, or at least not stop training, but stop going to crowded areas.
Yeah.
I think I taught my last lesson. I went to Tommy's class on a Wednesday. And then the next day, Thursdays are a bit touch and go me. If my body's a bit impacted, I'll have a day off so that I can train Friday and Saturday a bit harder. But I didn't go in Thursday. I thought I'll see how it is. And then by Friday, Saturday, people would like stopped pretty much. I was actually meant to compete on that Saturday as well at Grappling Industries. But to be honest, I didn't really want to chance it because I live with my partner, so I don't really want to bring anything back as well. So yeah, I think it's been about 4 weeks, so it's getting to me now. It's just, I think, pent up. I'm like, it's showing.
How long do you think this is going to last then?
Lockdown, or until we actually have a cure? Well, I say a cure,
Lockdown.
Lockdown, I reckon till June. I reckon it'll be till June, so I reckon we got another month or so at least. And even then, I don't know whether they've already cancelled a ton of concerts and festivals and everything, man. So it's like they might still limit crowds. Who knows, man? But
I was meant to go to this Guns N' Roses concert.
Man,
there's no chance.
Slash is back as well, isn't he? I haven't kept up to date with it, but he's back in the band, or has been for the last couple of years now.
So, well,
when was that for?
Yeah. So why don't we go and talk about like your coaching? Where have you been coaching at?
Currently I do every Tuesday at Shootfighters East. Normally quite a regular crowd that goes there as well. Some very good guys. Shout out to like Harry Powell. Who else? We got Danny Ellie. A lot of the guys down there as well. I won't name them all, but yeah, very good guys. Good to get on with and good to train with.
How long have you been coaching out there now?
I think it's over a year now. So originally Wyman was teaching there, but I think he got a bit too much on at work. So I think he said to Alain about me teaching there. So I was a purple belt at the time for about a year or two. I can't remember. So I started teaching there. Just doing a no-gi class for about an hour and a half. Sometimes I'd help out and cover the wrestling when Paul couldn't. But yeah, so been doing that. I help out at I think I helped out at West as well a couple of times when the boys weren't there or they're off competing. So I've been doing it about year and a half now, I think. Yeah, not too long, but yeah, there's some good guys down there.
Shootfighters, then you come to your head into it's like the beginning of MMA in England, aren't they? I mean, they're one of the big houses, big strong houses. What MMA?
Definitely, man. I mean, there's a lot of good guys that come out of there as well. I actually saw recently, I didn't realize there's the ex-rugby player is teaching. He's training out of West at the moment.
Okay.
I think he was in I don't watch a lot of TV, but like he was in Celebrity Jungle.
Oh.
And I just randomly saw, like YouTube algorithms. They're like, oh, you're like this. Yeah. Funny enough, it was at Shoot West. But it was quite good. I saw his thing about it's like a diary. He did a diary of a player. And it was basically about him being, his rugby career and what he was doing and stuff. But then he's retired from that. But he's going to be fighting in Bellator, I believe. But he's training in Shoot West. So it's quite interesting to see that. But yeah, they've got a lot of good guys. Obviously, probably Venom Page is probably one of the big ones.
Yeah.
So he's a Bellator. I think he's Bellator, isn't he still?
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I'm sure people listening to this will probably seen some videos of him on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or like on Facebook, whatever. The guy's like amazing timing, old school karate style mixed into modern
and showboating as well. But yeah, I mean, we're very lucky that we're obviously a part of the affiliation now with Shootfighters and stuff. So we're very lucky that we get to train. Because I joined Fight City, I think it's 3 years ago. And back then they weren't affiliated with like Shootfighters or anything like that. So it's really good fun knowing that we can train with different people as well. And I think that only helps us become a better team. So training with people out of Shootfighters, they come down to Fight City and vice versa. So it's really good.
I mean, that comes back to the trust people have in our Professor Alain Pozo. I mean, the guys at Shoot trust him to run the team, and then he's sending you and Wyman and Mateus and Tommy down there.
Yeah.
Shows the respect for you guys.
Oh, yeah, hopefully. I know he's worked very hard on, building ZR in UK, and there's a lot of teams now, a lot of affiliations. So yeah, I think he's done really well just building that and allowing us to be able to train with other people as well. So like, I'm not really a big fan of, gym groups that kind of are a bit too closed. They don't want to train with other people because they might be with a different affiliation. It's just too much politics for my liking.
I think this is general in all martial arts schools.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only martial art I've done. I never really was into sports back in the day. I was actually listening to the podcast, the one that you did with Tommy, the show. Okay. And saying that he wasn't really into sports, and to be honest, I was kind of like similar aspect.
Yeah.
I wasn't really, nothing really captured my interest, shall I say. It's like I didn't mind playing football as a bit of fun. It wasn't really serious for me. That's probably why I was terrible at it as well. But yeah, I think that's going back to the politics side of it. It's just not that doesn't interest me. Anytime that kind of stuff comes up, I'm just like.
You must hear so much stories about between this school, that school. Like, oh, we don't want them to train here. Don't train there. This guy's an arse. That guy's an arse.
Exactly.
What was that happening?
I actually feel like, because like I said, I joined Fight City 3 years ago, I believe now, or over 3 years in January. And I feel like my jiu-jitsu has got a lot better because I've been able to train with people of different standards and different areas and different backgrounds. And yeah, because I originally trained in Kent in CSA, really great gym actually, very good instructors, and they got a good group of guys down there. But I do think like moving to another gym was good for probably myself and other trainers at the gym.
You to Fight City then, Fight City Gym.
What drew me?
Yeah.
So I looked at a few gyms because I started working in London about, I think, January 2017 with the plan of moving to London. And I was just looking at a few gyms. I knew there was what the other ones, like Fight Factory, Fight Zone. There was a few around. I kind of wanted one that was quite close to work as well, so I could come to lunchtime classes. And funny enough, I didn't know that Alain was there. I knew of Alain beforehand, because he reffed at my first ever competition I went to back in Kent. You probably heard, probably heard, but I don't know. But it was actually run by my previous club, Tough Grappling. And yeah, it was such a great competition for beginners. It was a very local competition, but you know, like a lot of the Colchester guys like Taylor, Tommy, all ended up going down there as well. And I think it's actually one of their first competitions, or if not one of the first. Yeah. But yeah, Alain was there. I've still got a video of my first competition as well. And I didn't even realize until like a few years later, obviously, I was like, look at that. Oh, crap,
send me that later. I'll link it up at the end here.
It's crazy how it all comes around, and like, yeah. But I remember I went down to Fight City, and it was actually the gym equipment as well that I liked. I liked that it had obviously a separate area for the gym, a separate area for the classes, and the gym equipment and stuff just looked great. So I was like, I kind of wanted the 2-in-1. I wanted to be able to work out in the gym, but also do jiu-jitsu. But I think, yeah, definitely made the right choice for myself. I've met a very good group of guys and girls down there as well. There are a lot of cool people, and yeah, I wouldn't want to train anywhere else. So,
I mean, like, interesting you say that as well about the different style of training down at ZR City. So me and Tommy were saying how different personality will show up in the jiu-jitsu game that they play.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's why I like it, because it's not even personality; it's also body types. You know, there's people that aren't flexible. There's people that are, Tommy for one. And it's just like, it's interesting to see people's different games, and it's a big problem solving sport, which is why they, you know, the analogy of like, what's it like, jiu-jitsu is like chess.
Yeah.
Because it is a problem solving sport, and I think it's cool to see how, if someone is flexible, how they figure out how to pass someone's guard or sweep someone, and vice versa. Probably for myself, I'm not a very flexible person, or as flexible as Tommy, so I have to think of different ways. And obviously there's body sizes, and like you say, personality. I think personality comes down to how someone thinks about problem solving.
Yeah.
You know, thinking outside the box, or looking down routes that have already been tampered with. So like looking at people's games and how they pass, and maybe I might look for someone who's similar size or my weight category, how they pass, and try and emulate that as well. But yeah, definitely, I love it. I love the fact that there are so many different personalities in the sport. So you get to meet a lot of different people. So
I mean, like, that's the thing about Fight City, because it attracts so many different people from different areas. It works so well. I mean, people don't know this, but you coach Jason and I on once a week private basis.
Yeah.
Style, I mean, you saw Jason was on episode 2. So
yeah, I haven't quite got to that yet. I was finishing up Tommy's one, but yeah, I saw that he was on the next one.
Me and him like body size. I mean, for me and him being close friend and working together all the time, it was great just to have somebody to practice on jiu-jitsu wise.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like any sport, or at least a solo sport, if you've got someone of equal stature and equal kind of skill level, or even just a little bit higher or lower, it depends. But someone that you know that you can train with, can trust, it makes a big difference. It's like, it must be difficult for people like, I mean, especially Tommy, he's a smaller dude, especially probably when he first started, trying to find someone who is of equal skill level as well as size and stature. It's like, it must be quite difficult. But having someone that you can train with, you know, and try things out on, and they try with you, and you kind of just bounce off of each other. So I think like you and Kev, I think is a very good fit, because you know each other enough now. You've known each other a long time at least, but it's good that you're kind of equal kind of playing fields.
Yeah.
so you can both train with each other. You both got the same kind of interest with it. I think that works really well, and that's why I feel that, you know, when we do have the sessions together, you do bounce off each other. You know how each other works, so you end up, you know, pushing each other as well.
The thing is, how many sessions we've done now, but Jason's skill level just jumped up massively in the last however long we've been doing this.
Definitely, and it's the best feeling when, like, he comes to me and he's like, yeah, I pulled this off, or I chucked this guy out, or so and so and so, and I'm just like, yeah, that's sweet.
Like, about this inside joke, I mean, Jason's coming after me. He's
Yeah.
got me out one time, innit? And I feel it's getting close. He's going to catch me one day, and I'm going to be caught out very unsurprisingly, but surprisingly at the same time. It's going to happen.
He cracks me up with his enthusiasm for it. How, like, we'll go into a session, he'd be like, yeah, this is the session I'm going to learn that magic trick. I'm like, I'll just teach you what I know. But yeah,
this is a session. X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, it's man, it's great. It is great. It's very, as you know, as a trainer, it's very rewarding when someone listens to what you say and actually applies it. But also, you know, they get results. Definitely, when they get results from it, is the best thing. Even if it is just in training and gym. I mean, I know that Jace wants to compete.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think it would be a big wake-up call for himself when he does compete, to see how different it is, like nerve-wise and just, you know, scenario-wise. It's like, for me, like, I really want to try and emulate what I do in the gym, what I do on the mats. I think a lot of people do, but obviously it is a different scenario, because, you know, obviously you tap, you're out, and that's it. But yeah, it's sorry, probably.
You go into competition though, right? When you're at competition, do you play your own game? Do you feel like people pull you away from your normal game?
I think I do pretty badly at competition, to be honest. Yeah, it's just I think it's a combination of not competing enough.
Yeah.
You know, not getting that. What am I going to say? It's like you have to keep competing to obviously get used to it, and it's like, I don't think the nerves necessarily go away. I think actually I saw the interview that Taylor did, where he said about the nerves. You kind of learn how to control them, or at least, you know, use them for your benefit, rather than kind of let them control you. And I know, like, when I leave too much of a gap between competing, they do take over a lot. You know, it takes me a while to get used to a familiar setting, so it's like thrown into a competition, it's like completely unsettling.
Yeah.
But I also feel like having that to work towards has helped me greatly. So it's like, even if I go into a competition and I don't do the best, that, you know, let's say the 2 months leading up to that competition has helped me train a lot harder, because I got that in mind. And I think that's a really big thing that you should have to help with your jiu-jitsu. Because obviously, if you've got something that spurs you on, sorry, say again.
Having a clear goal and something to train for.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a big thing. It's like, I think we all know, we've even with weight training, if you don't have a goal with weight training, it doesn't really work. It's like, you can go in, you can lift weights, you can try to maintain. And I actually think maintaining something in a gym is worse than having something to reach towards. And you know, whenever I sign up for competition, I just have I mean, a few goals in mind. One of them will obviously be the weight class, what I do, you know, keeping on top of my diet and so on. Also, like, it really does spur you on, It doesn't matter even if you know, like, you just want to go in there and just try your game, you know, see how you do.
A little bit more fear and reason to train.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, I'm not a very active competitor at all. I work a normal job alongside doing jiu-jitsu, so it's like, it's not my life. I say it's not my life. I've probably put more hours into it than I've actually worked, to be honest. But it's you know, it's something that drives you, and it's good, and it does relate to, you know, your normal day-to-day job. There are aspects of jiu-jitsu that I take into my job as well, which do help. So
So in your everyday life, what do you do for a job then?
So I'm a computer programmer for Lloyds Bank. I've been doing that since I started working in London. That's the whole reason I actually ended up moving. So I originally worked at Lloyds in Kent, where I'm originally from. And I was there for about a year. And then, I mean, to be honest, I kind of had aspirations of moving away. I didn't really know where, but I did kind of want to get out the hometown. Yeah. So I started just working for a bank. I was originally a PT before that, but I don't think I really had aspirations for it. You know, I enjoyed it. It was kind of one of those things where I think a lot of people do, where they enjoy going to the gym and they think, obviously, why not just work in the gym if you enjoy it so much? And I did enjoy working in the gym. It's just, for me, I didn't really have that goal or drive to like build, you know, that end goal I think a lot of people have. It's like, I want my own gym. Someone's got, you know, they have all these big plans. And I don't feel like that was there for me. So I kind of like, I was like, okay, so what should I do? What do I want to do? And one of the things was, you know, like move out, have a car, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, where's the money in a bank? Yeah, pretty much. I was like, all right, okay, I'll just look for jobs within banking. Yeah, but long story short, I basically worked there for a year and then applied for another role within the company, and then I got it. And yeah, and I think the key thing for me was find a job outside of Kent. So I actually applied for a few different areas, Leeds. I went to London, I think Birmingham as well. So yeah, I kind of once obviously I got one of them, I was just like, cool. I was ready to move there like straight away. Got the one in London, started working, and then yeah, I've been there ever since.
Yeah. But is there anything else you want to do right now? I mean, apart from going back on the mat?
Yeah. I don't know, like I've never been one of those kind of people that has like a 5 or 10 year plan, because I feel like too much changes in short circumstances. Like I actually, like growing up, I never wanted a desk job. I've ended up in a desk job, but luckily with me, it's like I'm able to kind of take it a few different areas. So like I'm trying to learn as much as I can in the job role I'm in, because with developing, it's something that you can take elsewhere. And that was one of the key things. I wanted a skill that I could build on, that I could take anywhere really. You know, if I decide that I want to take jiu-jitsu more seriously, I don't think I'll become a full-time competitor, but you know, if I decide to delve into developing for jiu-jitsu companies and so on, it's like that's something I could do. I think for me, it's always, I want to build a skill that I can take elsewhere into different avenues. So I don't just want to be, you know, building on something, say I lose a job or I leave, it's like I haven't got anything to use to take to another job, if you know what I mean. Plus, I've always used computers. I love computers because, I mean, they're a big thing now.
What's going to go with this point is, right, I've just noticed there's a few developers on our jiu-jitsu squad. Quite a few. Do you think there's jiu-jitsu and programmers and developers all kind of drawn to the same thing? Because you
know what I think it might be is the problem-solving aspect of jiu-jitsu. So with developing, there's a big problem-solving aspect of it. I mean, that is the major thing, because it is maths, and maths is a big problem-solving. Well, maths is problem-solving.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, that is. You actually find a lot of people in IT, in computing, up in jiu-jitsu, because they're nerds at the end of the day, and I feel like jiu-jitsu does breed a lot of nerds. there's a lot of people that
nerds who like to roll around with sweaty men.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it's quite funny as well, because I don't see myself as a nerd. I probably am, but I don't know. If you saw me down the street, you probably wouldn't see me as a nerd. But like, I play computer games. I love, you know, like messing around with computers and all that kind of stuff. So there probably is a problem-solving aspect, or problem-solving gene in my body. But I don't know. I never really I never thought I'd be a developer at all. I was kind of a bit more creative back in like college days. I like Photoshop and art, which I still do now, but I think there's a bit more money in developing, isn't there? So I think I gravitated a little bit more towards the money aspect than I did creativity wise, but yeah.
All right, let's go on to your other hobby, the drinking, the IPA and the ale.
I love drinking, man. I think that's also why I can never be a full-time competitor, man. I like going out and socializing too much. It's like, I feel like you have to be very strict if you want to be a top competitor, and I don't have the willpower to do that. So I just accept that I like drinking, but I like jiu-jitsu as well. So I just do both.
And you also like food, man.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. It's like, I'm terrible at cutting weight. Like, I enjoy my food way too much, and it's like, I don't like restricting myself. I become nasty when I haven't eaten. Like, I'm funny enough, I was literally about to come on to that. Yeah, I am so hungry, like day in, day out, man.
Friday night training, the bunch of us had schedule for 1 hour training that turns into like 2 hours of training on a Friday night. We all get so hungry by the end of it.
Exactly, yeah. It's
Mr. Tommy Yip, the slowest 1 hour of all of us. It drags and drags before we can get any food down us.
Exactly. That's also what I liked about it as well. Is back in Kent when I used to train, it's like we'd have like every gym kind of has the major sessions throughout the week. Back in my old gym, like the Tuesday nights were always like when everyone would be there. It was always a big gi session. Yeah. I think for Fight City, it's always a Friday night big session. But the difference is, it's like, I quite like that not only have I met so many different people moving from Kent to London, everyone that I've kind of like sent around now is always have got the same interest in me. Food, someone quite like a drink as well. But obviously jiu-jitsu is the main thing as well. So it's like the Friday nights, we do like an hour or two hard session. We burn a ton of calories, and then we're like, screw it, let's go put them all back on by having a few drinks, having some good food.
Have you noticed? You will notice, but like the Friday night group splits into two: the non-drinkers and the drinkers.
Definitely.
I think this is quite a good thing. I mean, 1 week you can go with the drinkers, and next week you want to chill out a little bit without the drinking, and we'll go out and hang out with the other group.
I think it's a good thing as well, because you end up, especially when you're coming up towards competition, you don't want to drink as much or at all. And obviously food-wise, you're trying to be good, but it's like, they kind of cater to that. It's quite nice. If we know a few of the guys are obviously competing, we're like, right, let's just go out and have some food instead. So we still have that social aspect, but I do like that it's not, there are people there that work all throughout the week, and then they just want to let off some steam. So Friday night, we'll all just train, we'll get all that aggression out for the week, and then we'll go out for a few beers and chat shit and have a good laugh. So yeah, I love that aspect of it, and I think that's kind of what drew me to it a bit more as well. So
more sociable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's quite interesting when you talk to people who do at the gym, do Muay Thai and stuff as well. I feel like the jiu-jitsu guys tend to drink a little bit more, definitely, but more of a social aspect. There's always, the jiu-jitsu guys have always got something on. Like we're doing a pub quiz tonight, actually, that I'm hosting. It's like, it's quite interesting that we're doing all those kind of things, but you don't really see other sports do that as much. You don't, I like the tendency to do stuff in a group with jiu-jitsu, even though technically it is a solo sport. You go out there, you are on your own. Yes, you have the coach in the corner and stuff, but you are the one that's pulling the plug. You're the one that's doing the shit. So it's quite interesting that for a solo sport, there is such a big, a big group thing. It's quite, that's what I like about it, man.
So I remember, we talked about this before, how you got into it. So you if I remember correctly, so you used to you wanted to go into MMA style, right? Back in the old days. And then you got into what, Muay Thai, and then you got into Jiu Jitsu.
No, not necessarily Muay Thai. I was doing MMA, or at least the MMA training. I didn't want to get into MMA, and then I think I did a couple of sessions. I didn't really like getting punched in the face. I mean, who does? But I think that, like a lot of guys, they go into MMA, but then they do jiu-jitsu and they just love it. And you'll get those guys that do MMA, where they do all the different styles and all that kind of stuff, and it's good. But I just kind of found myself doing more and more jiu-jitsu, and you know, I didn't get beaten up so much, especially with if you end up doing quite a lot of striking, you're going home with black eyes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just I liked that jiu-jitsu, that everyone had a different style, and I get that there are different styles in striking, but you can find many different styles in jiu-jitsu according to personality, according to size and strength, and I think that's what drew me to it. And also, like this, it's so rewarding when you pull off a technique in sparring, like very rewarding. You know, when you get someone to tap, it's I think that's the ultimate satisfaction. It's like in boxing, you know, you do rounds of boxing. Unless you know that you beat the guy, it's like it can be very back and forth, can't it? And yeah, jiu-jitsu can be the same. But when you're working hard and you get that tap, and you're just like, this is what I've been working on. This is the submission I've been working on. This is the position. It's so rewarding. And yeah, I think that's I just fell in love with it, really. And I think like a lot of people, they do.
I think in jiu-jitsu there is a definitive winner and loser though at the end of a match, or at the end of the round. Well, in fight sport, means stand-up fight. One person could say, "Oh, you technically got beaten up," but the person who's getting beaten up might not agree. But in jiu-jitsu, you tap.
Yeah.
Once you tap, you have declared, right, you won.
Yeah, you are admitting defeat, and I feel like the bonus of it as well is that I can train with someone, I can spar with someone, and let's say we both tap each other once, we both go away, and like, you know, 9 times out of 10 we are injury free. We're good. We could go again. We could be like, right, let's settle that score. Let's go again. Yeah. And yeah, that's what I love about it. And also the fact that, you know, the whole judge a book by the cover. Yeah. I think jiu-jitsu is a big staple of that, because there's people out there that don't look like they should be able to beat you, and they are sick. They are savage, man. And it's
look at little Tommy. I mean, by calling little Tommy, you look at Tommy, just don't let him grab you. Once he grabs you, you're gone, man.
Exactly. And it just goes to show, it's like there are a lot of competitors out there that don't look like they should be able to do the things they do, and then they completely turn you on your head. It's like, you know, going with certain people, are like, I'll get swept by, and I'm just like, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. I'm like, I outweigh the guy by like 20, 30 kilos. But man, he sweeps me, he chokes me. It's just like, this is what I love about it. It's great. You don't have to be big to be good.
It's such a skill orientated. It's unbelievable how much little intricacy could make such a big difference. I mean, like, I know you are like a few more grades above me, but every single time when we roll, anything I do, you just put a stop on into it. It's almost to a point where you're like, okay, what the hell just happened? Situation is like, okay, I'll put my left hand down. Oh, left hand got shut down. Right hand down. Oh, right hand just got shut down. Oh, my neck's exploded. Oh, okay, tap.
Yeah, I mean, that, like you say, that is experience, and it's like, I think I've been doing jiu-jitsu now for over 8 years, which I'm really surprised by, because I have a short attention span, very short attention span, and it's I don't know how it flew by, absolutely flew by. The other day I had to go through Facebook. I was trying to get a catalogue of like when I got my belts and when I started and first competition. And I remember I went through Facebook to try and guess like when it was and stuff. And it's mad how quick it's gone. You know, like 8 years has just flown by, absolutely flown by. But I remember speaking to my mate Harry Power, you know, from Shootfighters, and just talking about how crazy it is that I still feel like I've got so much to learn, because it's like I roll with some people, maybe they're coming from other gyms, or you know, like people that have been training about the same time as me, but they pull off certain stuff, and I'm just like, man, teach me. I love the fact that there's always, sorry?
It's kind of hard to explain to people who don't do jiu-jitsu to fully understand why we're crazy enough to roll with another man like every day, every other week, whatever we do.
Definitely.
The satisfaction you get from actually tapping or being tapped. The satisfaction of being tapped, that's almost a weird one.
Yeah, it is weird. It's like, you know, like when you first start, it can be a little bit uncomfortable because you're not used to having someone putting their forearm over your neck, or literally choking you to the point where you can't breathe, where like they're extending your limbs. And it's like, it's crazy how now you, I wouldn't say you get used to it, but like, well, no, I guess you do actually get used to it. Yeah.
It sounds weird.
It is mad. It's a weird club. It is a weird club to be a part of.
Yeah.
Like, you get twisted up and you're just like, there'll be certain ways I get twisted up and I'm like, that felt good.
Yeah.
In a weird way. Like,
it does, doesn't it? It's like getting choked out. Like, oh.
Exactly. There's those points where like you're training, you're getting choked out and you're like, I could tap now, but you decide to fight out. Yeah. And then, you know, you manage to get out, but there's those little speckles around where you know you've almost gone out to the point of like passing out.
And you're seeing stars.
Exactly. It's crazy. I
think the higher, like the more experience you have, the longer you crave for that, the more you want of that feeling of, yeah, you nearly had me, but I'm going to keep going and not let you tap.
Oh, totally. I mean, like, I think, as you know, it's like, especially early on, tap often, and you learn from it as well. But it is weird. It's just weird that you go through that stage of like, what stage? You go through the training session, especially Friday nights. You want to beat each other up a lot. You know, you're trying to choke each other. You're literally, as long as they're all right with the friends, they're like, normally they choke you, and it's like, they know it's been on a while. They're like they ease off and stuff like that. But yeah, it is the weirdest sport. It's the weirdest sport that you can extend people's limbs and choke them and then shake hands after. You're like, that was cool.
Yeah. Just look at Jason. I mean, Jason's nature isn't a fighter at all. He's the nicest guy. No violence in him, man. But like after he's started jiu-jitsu, he's loving this stuff, man.
Yeah. And do you think that's kind of like the primal aspect of a human being come out?
Definitely. I think we're raised not to have this. The society, not raised, I'm probably using the wrong word, but we're in a society where you show aggression it's a bit frowned upon, isn't it? Not a lot.
It's not really needed nowadays, is it?
But I think it is needed. I mean, you see
in some way.
People are just gone too far one way, though, haven't they? From my personal opinion, I think it's gone too far one way. Just being too nice sometimes, not having the backbone to stand up for themselves. They get pushed away and pushed down, and they don't have enough confidence to stand up for themselves. I think this, not just jiu-jitsu, but being in sport or being in an environment where you see people who are a bit more confident than you, and you pick up on it. Actually, I shouldn't be taken advantage of in certain ways, or talking to whatever the situation may be. You know,
I mean, it definitely, like you say, it is about building the confidence. And there's so many stories out there of people who do jiu-jitsu, and you know, they either like lose a ton of weight.
Yeah.
It just builds confidence, that community as well. It's like, you know, having those friends that have that similar interest as well. Yeah, I think it's great. I think actually it has helped me build confidence as well. I don't think I was a very confident person before.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm on about like 8 years ago, like a long time ago. But yeah, I think definitely, it's changed. It changed who I am, for sure.
That's good. I mean, it's why, like, you often see not just white belt. I mean, like, just white belt would be the easiest way to describe them. White belts who are coming in who haven't got that confidence to push themselves yet, or to not a beating, but taking jiu-jitsu for what it is.
Yeah.
And then a few weeks later, or a couple of months later, sessions later, then you see them coming out of the show and it's just like, yeah, there you go. That's what this is about. Just
I think Malik's one to consider, that when he first started, he didn't really talk that much. He wasn't as open as he was now. And I remember when he first was there as well, how you could tell that although he wasn't talking, he wasn't as expressive.
Yeah.
He was listening a lot, and this is why he's so good, because he can listen. And I think that's also why he takes in a lot of the information that's given to him. So
we talked about this about Malik. I mean, the young phenom.
Yeah.
Soaks up all the information. Just regurgitate it out as soon as he rolls. I think Harry was telling a story, wasn't he, about him showing Malik some move and then just pull it off on Harry himself.
Yeah, definitely. And like there are those people that can see something and just do it straight away. I'm very much. I think I'm a slow learner. I can pick things up quickly, but to fully grasp them, I think it takes me quite a while, and I think it takes a few different learning curves myself. Like, I'm very much a visual learner. Like, I like reading. I do like reading and like researching something, but it's kind of that's why I like doing the different avenues of learning something. So let's say, for instance, single leg X. It's like I need to be shown single leg X, and then I learn it. But then, I'll go online, there's tons of videos, and I'll learn a different way of doing something. So for me, I need to learn different ways of approaching that position. Whereas with people like Malik, it's kind of like you show him and he's like, yeah, cool. And he does it. And you're just like,
yeah, just
damn it. Just learns it straight away. You're like,
and he's like, okay, I've got this. Does it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, envious of this, obviously people like that, but I feel like he probably gets bored quite easily learning something. So he's like always learning something new, which obviously makes up for a good practitioner. You should never settle. And as soon as you settle, you become complacent, and it's like you'll get fucked over by someone who's been training less than you because they're trying to learn something new every time. And I think that's what makes someone a good practitioner in jiu-jitsu, or any sport really, is always wanting to learn something new, and always, I guess, being that cliche thing of always being that white belt. You want the same enthusiasm for the sport as you did when you first started learning. You're like, I need to learn this. I need to learn how to bend that person's arm. I need to learn how to choke someone. And it's like that should continue throughout your whole jiu-jitsu, I say career, but the whole, all the time you're doing jiu-jitsu, that's how it should be. That's how it should be, pretty much.
The approach you should have to jiu-jitsu, and it's just life in general. You should never stop learning, but
no, totally.
More apparent in jiu-jitsu. We're
Yeah,
talking about
this is what I was saying earlier about how I relate jiu-jitsu to life, or at least how I use certain aspects of jiu-jitsu in my work day and stuff, and that's completely correct. It's like I'm always, especially right now in work, I'm like, there's still so much I need to learn, and it's like I'm just trying to claw at different things and like learn this, learn that, and it's like, yeah, as soon as you become complacent, it's like you're already 2 steps behind someone. As soon as you feel like you know everything, someone will learn something new, and it's like it doesn't help you at all. You need to always be learning something new. Sadly for me, it's at a slower pace. I feel I'm like, I go through very peaks and troughs of learning stuff. Like I think lately, well, before obviously getting locked up by the government, it's I was learning a lot more about like the leg lock game, and I was really enjoying it and stuff. So that's something completely new. It's like different. It changes so much that you really have to keep on top of it to know what people use in competition. And that's all. It reverts back to why I feel like people should compete more. Is that they realize what works at the moment, what doesn't. So I think that's a key thing. But yeah, definitely very cliche, but always being that white belt, always being that person that wants to learn something new.
You always find ways of doing things, man. I mean, like the way you were showing me and Jason things, it was just like, oh, naturally, you can show it to us, but we have to actually understand when to use it. And when to use it, it isn't when. It's actually pop, there it is. You just go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the single leg X we were doing before all this lockdown is just once you get a trigger point to see, and then you just go for it. Like, oh, it's there.
And I feel like actually when you know that you're really learning it, it will pop up. It will pop up in training randomly. You know, there'll be instances where like I remember competing at blue belt, and there was certain techniques that I used in the competition that I haven't drilled or anything like that. It was just that I wouldn't even say it was muscle memory. It was just maybe just seeing it previously. But I remember getting like, funny enough, quite a early on technique that a lot of white belts learn is the armbar from guard or full guard. Yeah. You know, the whole passing it across the center line and getting the armbar. And that's something that I never really drilled before. But I remember one time in competition, this guy just posted his arm out and just instinctively I got it. And like, as I got the tap, I was just kind of like, in my head, I was like, I don't remember doing that. It was so weird. And I don't know whether that was just seeing it before, and it's just like, you know, as I was moving, it just kind of happened. But it's like, I feel like once you understand a position or a technique, you end up just seeing it in different areas. So there might be like single leg X, I get a lot from shin guard, but there are other areas that you can get it from. And it's like, sometimes I'll just suddenly being the single leg X, and I'll be like, I have to take a minute, I'll be like, how did I even get in this position? But I think once you understand mechanics of being in that position or being in, get in that position, you then start seeing it from different areas. You start seeing how to get it from different areas, and I think that's where your game elevates. You know.
Definitely. I mean, you see people reacting, but sometimes you see people reacting a bit too hard though as well.
What do you mean?
What I mean, people will find a way to do things, and then they'll see it. All right. Once they see it, they'll try to grab into it, but they haven't got the moves properly, and then that's when they get really frustrated with themselves.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah, I get you there. So like, so single leg X. You know, there's ways of setting it up from like shin guard, like we've been through, but there's obviously ways of setting it up where, you know, I think I showed you more of a basic way of kind of getting into single leg X, especially where you get the drill from and stuff. I think I know what you mean. People try to like muscle their way into it, rather than try to off balance someone or try to make them think you're doing something else, and then you go into that guard. I get what you mean with that aspect, and I think that's. It works in some ways. It works for some people, and you might get it on, you know, somebody who doesn't understand that position as well. But then I think that's what I like about jiu-jitsu. So there's always someone that will know what you're doing or know, or be able to stop it. So you will have to learn how to disrupt them in order to get that guard. Which is what I like about it. It is a problem-solving sport. So there'll be ways again single X, there'll be ways again full guard, and it's like you have to kind of figure out different ways of doing it for different people. If they're big and strong, it's going to be very difficult for you to get them off balance. Not saying that big and strong people have good balance, but you get what I mean. It's like, but let's say there's someone quite flexible or very fast, it's very difficult to slow them down and try and get into those positions. So yeah, the problem solving aspect of that is, I think, what entices people a lot more.
I mean, like you hear all you higher belts screaming down to a lower belt, like, if jiu-jitsu fails, use power.
Yeah, man. Why not? I mean, I think jiu-jitsu, I think back in the day was definitely a lot of technique over strength. As you like a lot of people watch UFC 1, you see Hoist Gracie. I think was it Ken Shamrock the first year? No, he was against that Dutch fighter that kicked out that sumo wrestler's tooth. Yeah. He was also in choke. I can't remember his name, but
Gordo, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was a Dutch kickboxer or something like that.
Dirty boy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, have you seen Choke?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, about him blinding him in the finals, or not finals, semi-finals, but digressing. But yeah, I think a lot of it was obviously technique over strength, and I think that still is prominent today. But you have to. This is the whole point about personalities and body size and stuff. You have to use what you've got, and you know, there's, as you know, I think there's probably more prominent big guys than there are smaller guys at the moment at our gym. Godzilla for one, big dude.
Godzilla, big up.
But you know, like as he's learning more and more technique, he's getting better and better. But he should always remember that he's a big dude, man. It's like, use your strength. You have to use it, but you have to use it in the right way. It's like,
the scary thing is, the very scary, from my perspective, he's not even using strength yet. He hasn't even built up that strength.
I think you're right, actually. I don't think he actually realized. I think he tries to not use as much, but he should just, you know, but this just comes down to about using it in the right way. He's a big dude. He could easily pin someone down and not let him move, but that doesn't help your partner or yourself learn. You've probably been in situations where like it's very stalemate between two people. Like I remember me and Tommy used to have a lot of good scrambles when we first started training together. But as I've got to know his game and as he's got to know mine, it's like we roll together and it'll be one or two things. It'll either be him putting me in spider guard and like fucking me over, or I'll be like trying to stop this and it'll be very much stalemate. But you know, I don't think that really helps me or him. So it's like once you know kind of like I think a lot of jiu-jitsu is learning your body as well. It's learning what you can do. You know, and once you know what your body can do, you kind of develop that around the techniques that you want to learn. But that kind of comes back to, you know, training with new and different people, not just competition, as in like going to different gyms and training with people, is that you don't know their game. So you might open up a little bit more. You know, you might try different techniques. There'll be techniques that I try in the gym that, you know, won't work on people because they know what I'm doing. I've done it maybe too much, which is something that also helps me, is that I need to learn something new. And I think, you know, going to another gym and trying your techniques on people is great, because you not only learn whether it works against different people that don't know your game, but it also exposes you to kind of learn new things as well. But I mean, it's forever expanding. I just like that is the one thing I love about jiu-jitsu. It's like you could be doing so well one week, you're pulling off these techniques, but as soon as someone learns what you're doing or knows what to do against you, it's like you need to learn something new.
For scenario like you and me, when we roll, the amount of time you get me into this Kimura tie up, sitting on somewhere, and I'm just like, he's done it again. I know you're setting it up, and I'm in my head, I'm thinking, right, I'm going to defend it, boom, I'm there, over and again. But the thing is, I don't want, like, one side of my head, I'm thinking, right, I'm going to find a solution to this, and the other side in my head is like, oh, I need to ask him what I'm actually doing wrong. But you're in that two minds. For me, I'm in that two minds. Do I ask him what I'm doing wrong and let you work it out, or for me just trying to work out what am I doing wrong?
I think it's definitely both aspects. The difficult thing is, it's like there's a bit of experience, a big experience differentiation between us both. Okay, because I have been training longer than you. So like, yeah, there's going to be times where you need to ask me, and that's perfectly fine. I'd rather you learn something from our role than nothing at all, because obviously there's no point in doing it. Exactly. So yeah, like, by all means, I will happily tell someone how I do something, because at the end of the day, once you learn how to get past that, I then have to learn something new, or at least, you know, I have to fight off a lot more than what I had before, which is going to help me. It's like, if I kept everything to myself, that doesn't help either of us, because you're not learning something new to obviously improve your game, and I'm not learning anything new to improve mine, or at least to stop my game, so I learn something new. But like I said before, it's like there's a bit of an experience gap between us. So it's like, yeah, I might teach, you know, with roll, there'll be a certain position that you end up getting caught in quite a bit, and it's like you're like, you know, you ask me, and I'm like, look, just stop doing this or start doing this, and then you do that. But then there'll be something else that needs to be learned after that. Yeah. But that's just because you're still learning. I'm still learning as well. I get caught just as much as you. It's like this is a thing as well. It's like I roll with Tommy, and he catches me. Like, his close guard is awful for me. It's half the time I'm fighting just not to get in that close guard. And it's like, you know, then I ask. I mean, it's funny how, like, even though I've been training, let's say 6 years longer than you, I will still do the same thing with people that beat me up. So it's like, you ask me, it's like, how do I stop getting in that certain guard or getting caught by that certain submission? I'll tell you. And I roll with someone, I'll be like, crap, like, they beat me up. Like, how do I stop doing that? And I think that's a key thing. It's like you
can't stop learning. It doesn't stop.
Totally.
It doesn't mean anything in this learning curve.
Yeah, and it's like there was a big thing as well. What's that big thing? It's like a thing in jiu-jitsu where it's like it's an ego basher. It's like, if someone comes in with a big ego in the gym, normally jiu-jitsu will kind of grind that down. I don't really think that's the case. I think certain people will keep that ego once they know that they can beat people, and, you know, once they get that skill, that ego kind of stays there. I don't really see it as being like an ego basher, but it is.
It does change it a little bit more. You have to be more self-control, otherwise you will hurt somebody quite bad.
Yeah.
In any gym, in this one, is particularly not bad at all. Gets down really quick. But there's some jiu-jitsu places I've been to, and some fight gyms I've been to. You're like, holy shit, dog in here right now in this round. I mean, it's not just round after round. Everyone's got that same mentality of just ripping limbs apart, ripping your neck off.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't get, like, we have quite a few people visit Fight City. I mean, it's in the centre of London. You're always going to get people that are working in London for like a week or two. They need somewhere to train. Fight City offers, obviously, not only many jiu-jitsu classes. It is technically an MMA gym because it has wrestling, it has jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing. It has everything there, and MMA classes as well. But, like, you know, you get people that come into the gym that are working throughout the week, and it's like, you don't, you know, they come in and it's like they're the new person, all right? And you're like, I think myself, as much as anyone, they're like, okay, let's test and see what skill level they're at. Because you get people that come in and be like, yeah, I've trained a little bit before, I've had 1 or 2 lessons, and then they're like, you find out they've been doing wrestling for 5 years and they fuck everyone up.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. But then you also get, like, you know, there'll be people that are so, like, laxed about it. Like, yeah, I've been training like 6-7 years, and then you roll with them and you're just like, man, they're good to roll with. And it's like, I think it's also a reputation thing. So, like, you don't want to be known as that gym that any visitors that come down and try to train and they go away with like torn ACL or something like that. I don't think we have that gym there. It's good. I think that's why I've stayed at the gym we have, is that we don't have a bad reputation. We have a good reputation of good trainers, good people to obviously roll with. Yeah, definitely. It's like, it is a big reputation thing, isn't it? So.
Hey, let's go and talk about choke. I mean, like, the only thing I want to talk about choke is like, my guy, why I started is Hickson, man. And who did you use to watch? I mean, who's your guy?
So if we're going old school,
so I mean, just you. I mean, who you jiu-jitsu wise, and who you rate?
So old school wise, you know, like how I got into jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. I watched early UFCs. For me, it was never Royce Gracie. I never really kind of, like, don't get me wrong, obviously he was fucking good, but for me, yeah, definitely Hickson Gracie. If we're going UFC wise at MMA, I really like Matt Hughes, BJ Penn. Matt Hughes for me was fucking awesome. He's my I just love the whole like farm boy aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know, he grew up just being a farmer. Obviously did wrestling in college and like that stuff, and then he was just like, I'll try it. I never really like BJ Penn as well. Like really fascinated me. He was just quite versatile back in the day as well. But he loved the scrap. Yeah. But then obviously it changes a lot throughout the years. It's like, you know, I really like Marcelo Garcia. You know, looking at like Cron Gracie as well. You know, kind of emulating what his dad did, like the whole basic jiu-jitsu, nothing fancy. It works in MMA, and yeah, it kind of works for him. But the game does change. So I feel like you shouldn't stick to the whole basic jiu-jitsu for too long. It's good to learn, obviously, but there's so much out there to learn. It's like, why would you limit yourself? I'm trying to think of other people at the moment. I mean, like, I do like Gordon Ryan. I mean, I know he talks a lot of shit, but you know, it's good entertainment. Ryan Hall, Jeff Glover was always entertaining as well. I know he doesn't really compete much.
I never really got into
Jeff Glover.
Yeah, just
yeah, he's yeah.
You have to be. You have. I think the personality. This is a personality thing. Your personality has to have his kind of style, just joking around and just boom, poking.
Yeah. I mean, like, I never. The thing is, though, I actually just enjoyed Jeff Glover as a person, not his jiu-jitsu. So it's like I just like that he was ready to reinvent stuff, you know, the whole like donkey guard style, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then like he pulls it off. Yeah. But I also think like it works for him. I would never try donkey guard. There's no point. Like my body style just isn't that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I range a little bit. Like there'll be times where like I want to kind of emulate someone or try stuff they try, like Dean Lister's leg locks and all that kind of stuff. But then there's just people that I see where, you know, there's stuff that I won't be able to pull off, but you just like it. It's good. You know, you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's sick jiu-jitsu. I won't pull it off, but there's no point. I know my body. I know my body type. I'm not going to be able to pull off like crazy shit that they do.
You see all these videos from the old school days, some ninja 360 spin coming into like a headlock, coming back down into an armbar thing, and they pull it off in competition. Like,
mate, I'll still try and do like Imanari rolls, even though I fuck it up like 90% of the time. But
I don't even know what that is right now, man.
I'll show you once we're back in the gym. Whatever that is. But yeah, just I mean, like going back to the MMA thing, it's like I still want to do MMA, or at least I still want to see if I can do it. But I think my goal has kind of changed since starting all this. So like originally, obviously, I wanted to do MMA. I was like, look, I want to try and beat people up. They want to try and beat me up, so on and so on. Fell in love with jiu-jitsu and kind of like, it was always on the back burner. It was always kind of like, I still want to do it, but I'll do it when I feel like I want to do it. But nowadays I'm like, I just want to, the goal has kind of changed a little bit where I'm like, I just want to see if my jiu-jitsu works in MMA. I want to see if like, I can pull off certain things that I do in training in jiu-jitsu that I do in, you know, that I can possibly try in MMA. So it'd be quite interesting. Obviously I'm a little bit older now. I'm like coming up to 29. So I'm like,
so old.
But I mean, going from when I first started jiu-jitsu, which was like 2021, you know, then
I can't remember that far back, mate.
I'm not saying I can remember. I'm not saying I can remember much, but I know roughly that's when I started. But yeah, I still want to do it. I mean, I'd probably only have like 1 or 2 fights, depending how they go. Yeah, I feel like I kind of owe it to myself to do that, to kind of not complete the circle, but like, you know, kind of fulfill that goal that I had initially when I first started jiu-jitsu. To be like, look, I still want to have a fight. So
let's do it.
Plus, I think it's good to, you know, try the different aspects of the sport. It's like I'm more than happy to do, you know, like a white collar. I'm not great at boxing, but like I'd be happy to try white collar just to spur it on and try something new. So
what's the worst that can happen? Get punched in the head a few times.
I mean, I don't think I've got many brain cells left anyway, so fuck it.
Like, yeah. Boxing for me is like, it doesn't work for me, man. My head's too big of a target.
Yeah, it's crazy how, like, I didn't really have as much respect for boxing back in the day. It's like, I think that's why I like jiu-jitsu, because everyone had different styles, had different ways of approaching things, and I felt like boxing or kickboxing or Muay Thai was a bit kind of like single purpose. It was just like beat up the person. Doesn't matter how. It's just like punch, punch, punch. But last year I was kind of training towards wanting to do more MMA, so I was doing more like sparring and stuff, and I was just like open to the world of like how fucking complicated it actually is. Which is also why I think you should try different martial arts, because then you kind of, rather than looking at them from an outside perspective, you can see just how difficult they actually are. And I think it's the same for people that don't or haven't done jiu-jitsu. It's like, yeah, you can see it as two people rolling on the ground, trying to get the positions and so on. But until you do it, you don't really know, do you? So I feel like I learned, you get more respect for that sport, definitely.
Well, they look at us as, I'm sure, like stand-up fighting sport will look at us the same. Like, oh, all they want to do is just rip his head off, rip his arms off. But I'm sure once you start doing, I don't know, Muay Thai or boxing, you evolve in the same way. At first, you're like, oh, I'm going to have to do this. And then later on, you're probably like, oh, actually, when we are sparring, there's more techniques involved than actual, what do you call it, violent damages.
Definitely. Yeah, like we've got quite a few good strikers in the gym. Definitely. And it's like, even I can appreciate that for someone that hasn't ever competed in a striking sport. You know, I've done sparring, I've done pads, but it's nothing compared to obviously competing. I know we got like Sam and quite a few of the other got boxing guys in there, and they're just, man, you see him training, you're just like, that's like mad, absolutely mad. And you see the results as well. You see the results. He's winning tons. He's fighting big guys, and not even just winning. He's pouncing on them, man. They're just like, it's so good to watch, and it gives you a big appreciation for the sport as well. So I think that's also why I want to do a bit of MMA. Just, it's something new. It's something, I mean, yeah, jiu-jitsu is obviously it's a big sport in my life, but it's like MMA is not completely jiu-jitsu. It is obviously a big part of it, but it would be interesting to kind of see how my training fits into an MMA fight or MMA style of fight. So yeah, would like to do it.
We'll save that MMA chat for another show. Well, but what I want to ask you about your infamous red shorts. Where did that come from?
Funny enough, my mum actually
to the gym will know about the infamous red short.
So my mum actually bought me those. I think I probably I don't know. I'm not.
Hold on, what? What did you say?
Yeah. My mum bought them for me. So I think over the years I've gone between gi and no gi. I'm like, you know, I kind of prefer one to the other, and then I'll switch over and I'll be like, actually, this ain't that bad. And it's like, ever since doing a bit more no gi and wrestling, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like the bigger the shorts, the more you know, it more prohibits me and stuff. So I was just like, I remember having these shorts, and I think over the years they've got like shorter and shorter when they've been washed so much. But yeah, they've become a bit infamous now, because it's like, I think where I gained a little bit of weight, they've obviously stayed the same size. And and the funny thing is actually, because I'm a very white dude, as you can probably tell, but whenever I train, two things happen. I get very sweaty and I get very red. So I pretty much mimic my shorts to an extent. But yeah, I think quite a few people know about the shorts now. So,
you know, they go to white belt. Oh, who's teaching class today? I'm not sure. I think Tom. Oh, which Tom? Tom, the right short. The red short, not white short. It's like, right, yeah, okay. Yep, that's him.
I just own it now. It's like,
oh, yeah, why not? Be proud.
Really, I mean, I think people are just jealous that they don't fit into them as well as I do. So
that's it. That's it. I'm sure your missus is in the background looking at you, giving you a funny look right now.
Luckily, she's got headphones on, so she doesn't know. But yeah, she likes them as well. We'll save that for. Oh wait, she hasn't even. Brilliant. Yeah. Oh, I'll never get rid of those, man. I think to be honest, I need to start making a bigger collection of them. It's just different colours and all that.
Now let's bring this show to an end. I think we're going to have to. But before we do that, what food are you missing
from being
right now?
Oh, okay. Oh man. The thing is, like, a lot of the food that we kind of wanted, we can order still, so it's not too bad.
All right,
mate. But no, proper fried chicken, Korean fried chicken. Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Do you know what? Actually, it's not the fact that I'm missing food; it's missing being with everyone, having food. You know, it's like actually, Pauline asked me the other day. If it all ended tomorrow, what would be the first thing you do? I said the first thing would be train, because I haven't done that in fucking 3-4 weeks now. And then the second thing was to go down to Singer, to go down to the local pub near where we train with everyone, have some food, have some drinks, and just, like, you know, have a good chinwag. But yeah, I think it's more the fact it's the social aspect than food I've missed. But yeah.
Well, like me and Jason were talking about the favourite dim sum place. I'm not sure you're into your dim sum or.
Mate, I love food. I love dim sum, but I never really know. I mean, this is a thing. I think we need to go out more and eat. So you both will have to take me to dim sum place next time.
Oh, we'll plan this out once this lockdown's over. We'll go to a dim sum place, and we'll need to go to this wing place that Jason's raving on about.
Oh, definitely. It's so funny. He's the most Chinese black man I've ever met.
He is definitely more Chinese than I am. He is definitely Blackanese. Like,
yeah.
He is.
Brilliant, man. But yeah, definitely. We'll sort it out once it's all down. So.
Okay, well, I think we'll bring this to a fall. And thanks for your time today, buddy.
No worries, bro. Thanks for having me on.
Well, me and you're going to catch up later tonight, but yeah, it's been a good one. We'll do another session soon, then.
Perfect.
Cool. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.